Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining in. So, today we're going to have a gentle class. We're going to get quiet, focus on our breath, and then in turn, bring that lovely awareness into our heart centers, clearing anything that may have gotten congested there and giving us a lovely rest of our day. All right, let's begin seated. So please plant your feet wherever you are and wiggle your feet a little bit so you're very aware of how they feel on the ground and how the ground feels to your feet. Wiggle your hips a little bit so you feel them in the chair. And imagine a lovely uplifting fountain of energy rising up through your spinal channel and up through the crown of the head. So there's a sense of reaching up to a star or the heavens and giving you a lovely feeling of elongation and nobleness, a sense of regal. And let's start the breath off with an inhale through the nose and raising the shoulders. We're keeping that tall spine and sigh out the exhale. Ah. And again, inhale on your own rhythm. Inhale up and ah. And one more. Inhale up. And just let all that relaxation pour through you as you let that exhale out. Soft smile and continue some smooth breathing in and out through your nose. And I'm going to move back just a little bit so you can see more of my torso because I'd like to do a little bit of torso freeing movement. So once again, we're sitting up nice and tall. We want to place our feet and knees wherever they feel good to us. I've chosen to open my knees a little bit because that's what feels good, lets my hips be free. You can experiment for yourself. And we always want to keep that feeling of connection to the earth and elongation to the sky. So we're riding on energies outside of our own bodies, but bringing them inside to our own bodies. Sometimes we think that it's all about our muscles and our bones and how we move our joints and how we move our muscles, but there's also this other element of quality and visualization and how we do what we do, how we move. So we want to continue to feel that connection to the sky, absorbing and receiving that inspiration and absorbing and receiving what comes from the earth. So having said that, let's settle into our breaths. And as we exhale, let the waistline rock back, stay long. You can curve and you can even rock back off your sit bones or behind the sit bones. They're round shaped anyways. And inhale, the small of the waist comes forward. And exhale, find a pleasant way to move that matches the calm breath that you've already begun to cultivate. Think of the breath as being the most important part of these movement experiences, and the movement is meant to be linked on the breath. If you think of a necklace of flowers that's strung with a string or a silk cord, you want to imagine that the breath is the cord that unites everything, and the movements are like the flowers. Also let the shoulders come forward as you take that round back and lightly pull the upper arms back to open the chest. So we're becoming more aware of the shoulders and chest as we're rocking the whole spine. Let's do one more. Exhale. And as we inhale, let's come to that nice arch and relax into vertical. And just see how that feels. See how that feels. See if you want to wiggle a little bit. Allow any authentic movement to come through you. We're going to do one more warm up, and that's going to be for opening up the chest and the shoulders because we do have a heart-based focus today. So I want you to just watch one movement. When we circle the elbow, there's a point where I'm going to ask you to imagine that the elbow extends about 12 inches further than the tip, and that's where we're going to be looking. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can really see this. If I just look at the tip of my elbow, I'll show you what it looks like. Inhale, I'm looking at my elbow, and my head turns, but it's kind of on this level. Now, watch what happens when I visualize that I'm looking at a point about 12 inches away. So this is the same coming up. Now I look at that point about 12 inches away, and I want you to see how much more beautiful movement there is available in the throat, stretching through the armpit. So that's what I invite you to try. So if you haven't already joined in, let's do some together. You use your breath rhythm though. So inhaling, we're coming up, the eyes are finding that point, an energetic extension of the elbow, and we're circling around. Really enjoy your breath. Go into your own experience. Let's do one more. And let that hand and elbow flow down and then come to sitting and see how that feels. Take a moment to really absorb the sensations and continue cultivating the ground of your breath. Let's do that with the other arm. So you already know we're going to be gazing at a point, an energetic extension of the elbow. So as we inhale, the elbow is sweeping up around here. You're looking at that magic point and you're letting your head and eyes follow that around. As you inhale, you're coming up and over, and wait for your exhale to cue you for the back part of the circle. Feel into your breath. Let your eyes follow the path of your body. And let's do one more. And let all of that release. Sit for a moment. You're tall, you're light, you're free, and yet you're grounded and stable. The earth gives us that nourishing stability, and the sky and the heavens offer that lovely lightness and suspension. And we can lean on those energies to help give us more enriched movement qualities and awareness qualities. Connect to your breath, nice and smooth and rhythmic and unhurried as you're interpreting that today. And we're going to come and stand up for a little bit of full body inclusion before we sit down again. And I want you to admire my red moon boots. I'm very happy with them. It's chilled down a little bit where I am, so I want to stay warm. And keep that suspension. It'll make you feel buoyant. And keep that bounce. So there's a lightness. You're not only heavy and drop. That'll grind on our joints. I can even feel some old knee injuries going, oh, please don't demonstrate that. But I think you can feel that feeling of being pressured or compressed. We're looking for a decompression. So that lightness, and now my knees are going, oh, thank you. And maybe you feel something the same. So I want you to experiment. I invite you, try it out for yourself. I'm giving you some suggestions, some guidelines. They're based on my experiences, but what I want you to have is possibilities and give yourself permission to test things out for yourself. You can even do a little bit of rave shaking. You can make some noise if you like, or maybe you're in a quieter mood and it's just a very gentle, removing the lymph, we're circulating fluids in the joints and waking up every part of our body. Keeping the knees a little bit soft and the suspension a bit of swinging. Rotation is very important. And you can try a few small rotations with your feet on the floor. And if you want to try some rotations where the back heel lifts, you can try these on and really listen to your body. If anything feels like it's uncomfortable or pulling or tugging, the lifting of the heel is very supportive of that. And once again, we're using the focus just above the horizon. So we use that little bit of distance at the elbow. And now imagine that you can look all the way around your space and see things much farther away than your computer screen or whatever device you're using. And let's allow this to come down to a natural ending. And breathe. Bring the feet a little closer. Rest your interlaced thumb and index finger, one palm on top of the other over your low belly. Feel your connection to the earth and to the sky. Soft smiling, and feel the breath grounding and settling in this important lower body center. Allow your breath to flow freely, no rush. This is a little bit of sanctuary time. And continue breathing. I'm going to come a little bit closer because I want to show you a detail of the wrists. In fact, let's gently pull back the palm with the other hand, not the fingers. That'll bend too much of the fingers. We want to focus on this stretch of the inner arm and the actual wrist joint, and continue breathing smoothly and gently. Put a little energy in your fingers so they also reach towards the fingertips and beyond. And let's relax that. Notice any tingling and where you feel it. This is all connected to the heart meridian. And of course, we're going to do the other side. Nice and calm, not overdoing it, but just giving this message. We're opening up and we want to get a really nice wrist extension. Breathe space inside your mind, your wrist, your belly. And let's release. Shake that out a little bit. And one little more quick little wrist maneuver, interlacing the fingers and keeping the heels of the hands together. Some easy circles. So you may notice one wrist is flexed and the other is extended, and we're circling and snaking them around, allowing our elbows and shoulders to be responsive. We're not locking down anywhere. The only real rules are connect to the sky, connect to the earth, connect to your breath, and smile. And don't hurt yourself. Okay, that's 5 rules. But they're pretty basic, but they are the only real rules. Otherwise, and go the other way, otherwise they are the litmus paper for all the movements we do. Okay, so that gives a little bit more swirliness in the wrists, and you can just give a little massage to your hands. So the movement, and this can be done standing or seated, so let's just go over the positions of the movement. We start with our hands lightly cupped in front of the heart. You can even have your fingertips touching the heart center. So the energy center is in the middle. The heart is over on the left. This is my left, might look like your right, but we are dealing with the energy center. So we're lightly acknowledging softly and lovingly the energy center of the heart. And as we exhale, the fingers start to energize, come forward. Here's that wrist stretch that we did. And by the time we finish the exhalation, we have stretched back just enough to open the chest, but not to push into the heart. This is forcing. So somewhere just enough to open. It's comfortable. You feel it. The fingers are really pressed back. And then as we inhale, the wrists soften, the elbows soften, and we carry that energy in a nourishing way back to the heart. Let's practice that again. On the exhalation, We energize, we're releasing, we're cleansing. And on the inhalation, we softly embrace the universal healing energy. So we're releasing whatever might be stuck in our heart centers. There could be something burdening us. It could be something in our lives. It could be something around us. It could be something we're picking up from loved ones around us. We're going to add a sound to amp it up. I'm going to go back a little bit further so you can see if you're standing, if you're sitting, you're simply going to be sitting nice and tall and feeling. If you're standing, you're going to feel that there's a natural place where the knees have a little bit of softness. So knees are soft if you're standing, and the sound is going to be like H, A, 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 H, like you're releasing fire, which is the element in Chinese medicine associated with the heart. So we're releasing, we're burning off, we're clearing. So knees are bent a little bit. We're inhaling, we're softly cradling the energy at the heart, and now we're going to release anything that's burdening us. Bending at the wrists, and then soften as you inhale. You're carrying in beautiful, beautiful energy. And exhale, clear space. The knees straighten a little bit as the chest opens. And as we inhale, we soften, the knees bend, we get more rooted, and we're embracing the healing energy to fill our hearts. Exhale. Pull the fingers back so you get that wrist stretch. Inhale. Pulling in fresh healing energy. Let's do one more. And as you inhale, soften and receive. And finish by resting the palms one over the other on top of the heart. If you're standing, bring the feet a little closer together and feel the energy settling at the heart. If you're seated, you can also bring your knees and feet a little closer together if you wish. And maybe you're even more aware of your heartbeat. And now the final meditation, I recommend that we do seated. Maybe you're already there. And this is a little lotus hands meditation. I'm going to tip my camera so that you can see more of me as I'm seated. You don't need to see the top of my head, but trust that I'm lifting up through it. And I'll tilt just a little bit more, move back a little bit more. I want you to see my hands as well. So just pause for a few moments. Enjoy your calm breathing. And our hands are going to represent lotus petals, or if you like rose petals or any other flower, you can choose. So the movements are going to be, the first inhalation is that the palms face each other and the pinky side of the hand rests on the thighs. The exhalation makes the palms receptive, they're facing up. Inhalation, energy from the earth is rising like fragrance up to the heart, filling the heart. And as we exhale, we simply rotate the hands and they float down like cherry blossom petals or lotus petals being supported by the breeze or the air. So to review, inhale, hands on end. Exhale, palms up, hands resting on the thighs. Inhale, bringing the earth nourishment and the fragrance of the flower up to the heart. And exhale, relaxing, releasing, very soft, it's very delicate. So inhale, edges of the pinky fingers. That was an inhale. Exhale, palms up. Inhale, earth energy and fragrance rising to the heart. Exhale, Just softly floating the hands as though clouds are supporting them down. Inhale, palms face. Exhale, backs of hands on the thighs. Inhale, bringing the energy, fragrance, love, nourishment from Mother Earth to support the heart, and just let the hands float down. Now pause for a moment. You should be comfortable with the movements, or comfortable enough, and you know what? If you make something up, it's okay. It's more important to stay at the energy and the feeling of it. So essentially you want to end up with an inhalation when you're feeding the heart and an exhalation when you're coming down. But what I want you to think about a little bit more right now is settle into your breath rhythm. We want to really honor our breath rhythm as an unbroken thread, and each movement we make with our hands will be when the breath tells us to move. So here's an exhalation, we're here, and we don't move our hands until the inhalation, and that's when we rest the edges of the fingers, pinky fingers. We wait for the exhalation to turn our palms up. And then we don't move until the inhalation invites us and inspires us, pardon the pun intended, I guess, and you wait for the exhalation to tell you when the hands come down. You don't move again until the inhalation initiates, and until the exhalation initiates the next turn of the lotus petals or rose petals. You wait for the inhalation to tell you when to feed the heart, and then you allow the exhalation to float you down. Let's do 2 more rounds, very connected to our breath and our kindness. And if you have a natural suspension of the breath, or you feel like just being in that silence, then you're just not moving. You're just going to wait until the next breath gives you that natural cue. So we're doing 1 more, whatever that means in our own timing. And pause for a moment and simply breathe comfortably and feel. Notice gently the quality of your breath, the quality of your mind, your emotions, the pace of your breath, whether you feel more relaxed, more whole, or whatever it is that you feel. And we're going to finish today by placing one hand over the heart center and the other hand over the belly center. And it doesn't matter, as far as I'm concerned, put which hand is on top, right or left. I go by the feel. And we want to connect the feeling of breath moving in our heart and chest center, our lungs as well, and our low belly. The lower hand settling the energy, and the upper hand acknowledging the beautiful love that shines from our hearts. And remember, first we want to make sure that that love is being circulated through our own beings and bodies and cells, so that when we decide we want to share with others through energy, connection, even through prayer, distance healing, that we come from a sense of fullness and overflowing, so that we can also influence through the vibration of our own energy field, and not only from our words or from overextending ourselves. So important, especially for all the women who are out there listening and practicing together. We have often given when we're empty, and we can do it, but often there's going to be a time or an illness or a crisis that says, it's done, no more can do, it's over. So we want to spend this time, and if you feel a little bit guilty, that's good, because that means something's coming up from deep inside saying, we've learned that it's not okay to look after ourselves. Maybe it's a bit selfish, but in this new paradigm, it's very important. We need to look after our health. We know now that a strong immune system is very important, and it's also very important that we are healthy when we engage with other people. So here we are looking after ourselves, which is the first big step in caring for the world. And we're already caring for the world if we're caring for the world in our beautiful microcosm. So I know I went on a little longer, but just felt like it needed to come through. So I trust that, and I thank you for your beautiful presence. And may you have an absolutely wonderful day and weekend. I'll be back on Monday, and many, many blessings. I'll see you next time.